Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sales Growth Club TV show. I'm Chris, and I'm here with Steve.
Yep, hi Chris, everyone.
You all know Steve, so we won't bore you with. Well, this is what we said last week, wasn't it? When we talked about networking, because that's what we were on about.
Yeah.
And the things you shouldn't do when you network.
Yeah,
One of them was stand up and go, "Well, I've got a 10-minute presentation in a minute, so I won't bore you now."
Yeah.
Or you all know who I am.
Yeah, so I won't bother telling you.
Because we introduce ourselves every time. I think we missed it last week, but yeah, we always introduce ourselves. Because even when people know who you are, reminding them of who you are can still be great to achieving the result that you want.
It could be, yeah.
And at the end of the day, the results that we want, the main result that we want when we go networking is more sales.
There's more sales. Is it?
Well, do you know, I'd love to be known throughout the networking world. I'd love people to be talking about me.
Yeah.
But if I don't get sales, as you said, if you don't get sales, you haven't got a business.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I sort of challenge that, yes, I think ultimately more sales. And the results we want are yes, to see a positive return on that meeting. But isn't it more a bit like cold calling or some social media activity that all you're really looking to do is move it to the next stage? So more sales once you're qualified, right? Because one of the challenges at a networking event is not everybody might end up being your ideal prospect.
Yeah.
Because they might not have the budget, they might not have the authority to spend it, they might not want or need your product. So you've got to go through some kind of filter. Then as you come out of, then you're in the sales funnel, they're in Spank Up. So the game in most instances is to take them out of the room into a conversation. Now, some networking events enable you to do that, right? When they give you these moments to have 10 minutes of chat. And then people will join your Facebook group or whatever. But I wonder if really the intention is you go there to sell. And if you go there to sell, whether that's the right mindset to be going. I think going with an outcome in mind, that I want to take 3 appointments to a meeting, which will lead to sales, is a good thing.
Okay, so let us know, when you go to a network meeting, what do you go for? Do you go with the mindset of sales or the mindset to get them into your pipeline? Because I think the other issue here is, I know we've talked about pipeline a lot, I know we're teaching small businesses to set it up, but, you know, and they've got Spank Up. But sometimes when you go to a networking meeting, you don't have the visualization of Spank Up with you in a folder to think, well, how am I putting these in?
No, I get that. And I think you're right? So if ever there's an opportunity to accelerate a sale through your process, take it.
Yeah.
Okay?
But
absolutely.
That's a great, I think what you said is a great point, though. When you go to a network meeting and you are focused on sales, if you do change your mindset to think about how you get them into your pipeline, is that an opportunity to increase more sales?
Well,
because you're taking advantage of those that aren't ready to buy.
Well, remember, one of the things that I say in a sales process is if you try and close too early, they'll probably bring you straight back to the beginning if they give you that opportunity at all.
Yeah.
So that discovery phase, that analyze and approach phase in Spank Up, when you're doing your questioning or when you're doing your qualification, your clarification, is the place where you can then expand upon your product range. And you can look at all of your offers. And sometimes if things are going a bit too quick through any sale, you might just sell or solve the one issue, but the real value might have been in a broader sense more. And I think that's a judgment piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a judgment piece, all relative to the product portfolio, the products that you sell.
So one of the results that you need is to get more people into your pipeline.
Yeah.
Continuing on that, and as I said, not focusing heavily on the sale, but again in the pipeline, I suppose one of the other things you want to achieve is more visibility then.
Yeah.
So, just to increase your visibility throughout the networking circle.
Yeah. Well, as we talk through later in this topic of putting sales in your business strategy in the syllabus, one of the things we talk about positioning yourself as a leading voice, and one of the great ways to do that is to take the opportunities to increase your visibility at networking events by talking, speaking.
Yeah.
And actually a good way of measuring whether you're making progress is if you're invited to networking events to speak.
Yeah.
When actually people actively seek you out and say, would you come and do it? Or you're referred to by somebody in that networking group as, I heard somebody that was really good, and let me see if I can get them along.
Yeah, I heard that the other day. Someone came up to me that runs events and said, I heard you're really good at speaking. You've been recommended. I just want to know if you want to speak at the next networking event, next exhibition event.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good way. You're raising your visibility. You're getting more than you're paying for your networking event, and you're positioning yourself as an industry leading voice.
Brilliant. Let's move away from the sales and the visibility and the bit that drives your income. What about, as a result of networking, learning from others?
Oh yeah, I mean this is really, really good, isn't it? Because some of these speakers, I mean the quality, I would say, in networking events generally is really high. I find real value in some of the conversations, and not necessarily just the topic, right? Because the topic might not be in my area of interest or field of influence, but sometimes how they present, sometimes how effective they are, or not. So I saw a really good presentation a while back, and it was a gentleman who did it, and what he was using was sorry, I'm visualizing it now, was characters, like little Lego pieces to tell the story. And I thought that was a really, really impactful way to get the message over. So I learnt that what might be better when I do a talk next is to think about how we can bring visualization, or actually
use Lego characters.
Yeah, touching stuff.
Yeah,
could help improve my pitch.
And learning from others. How great is networking for bringing ideas to your audience? Yeah. I do it quite a lot when I've got a good idea and I want to pitch it. I want to see if it's going to have wings to grow somewhere. I'll bring it to a networking event and I'll use it in my 40 or 60 seconds.
Oh, just to test it?
Yeah, I'll talk about it and see what response I get.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I was thinking of it slightly differently, but that's a really interesting point, that you would use the pitch to say, I'm doing this, come and talk to me if you're interested.
Yeah, so sometimes you leave me in my 60 seconds, mention I do something, and then never hear me talking about it again.
Right.
That's because I've tried something, I've tested something. And the way in which I talk about products as well, I change them to see what the way that I can talk about it works. So sometimes I'll have an idea, and it might just be a passing idea.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, we can do that. So let's see if there's...
because my thought instantly went to, it's a good place to go with people you trust and respect, and actually more structurally say, this is the idea I've got. Has anybody done it?
Okay.
So actually you are building on other people's experiences or good practice.
So using the trust of the people in the room.
Yeah, just to test out, would this work? I'm thinking of doing, I guess it's very similar.
Yeah.
It's using the room to either test the validity of the idea, where mine is one of saying, I've got an idea, has anybody done it? Could you give me any tips and hints?
I quite a few people come to me with those ideas and say, Chris, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
I know you'll tell me the truth. I'm like, I'm not sure what that says about me, to be honest. But
as you tell the truth.
But that's a good idea, actually. Yeah, bringing an idea and working with the people in the group that you've built up a relationship with and trust. Those key referral partners.
They're almost your virtual team in a way, right?
Yeah.
Or at least the peers in that regard. Yeah.
So results. We've talked about. We've gone on for quite a bit in this video, actually. A bit longer than normal. I think we really got into a good discussion about things that you can do in networking events that some people wouldn't have considered. So more sales. So let us know, when you go to a networking event, do you go with the idea to sell or to get them into your pipeline? It doesn't make a difference to how many you convert. Getting a visual presence. How is that working out for you? Learning from others, and the last one is, do you take ideas to the group? And if so, how do you use the group to test those ideas?
Nice.
I think, that'd be, Let us know in comments. As always, Steve is around should you need any help. Do utilise the groups, get your message out there. And we will be back next week just with a final video, just top hints and tips in how to use networking effectively for the rest of the year. But from us two here, thank you so much and have a great day, everyone.